Sir, do you have clearance?
Does he have... What kind of a stupid question is that? And why is a doctor in a hospital asking it? We know Fury had his clearance revoked, but you know Nick Fury is the public figure who led the Avengers and saved the world multiple times, and he quite literally brought you the President of the United States. Why the f are you asking about clearance? And how would... You know what? I'm at my limit for questions. Just take the 3 sins and we'll move on. It's going to be real awkward later when Nigel gets wheeled in for his routine colonoscopy. How'd he get off that sub so easily? You'd think almost starting World War III would at least get you held after class. How come we never see Gravik in his normal form when he's in New Skrullos? I thought his whole selling point of the camp is everyone gets to wear their natural skin. Doesn't your leader refusing to do the same kind of defeat that selling point?
But what we know is our war is yet to be set in motion.
Didn't you just say in the last episode that you were starting your war? Does the war automatically get negated if you fail to kill your target? Were there conditions to the war actually beginning? Are your rules for war based on Calvin Ball? Wow, Secret Invasion clearly graduated from the Godzilla King of the Monsters school for hiding shitty special effects in the dark. Glad to see COVID didn't get the school shut down. I know it was hard on enrollments. Shouldn't he have some blood on his hand here? Or does shapeshifting make it all go away or get absorbed inside of him? The former's too convenient, and the latter is ew.
Show him satellite footage of New Skrullos.
Do you think that maybe this is a conversation you should be having in a private space? You're still out in the open, and I'm pretty sure one of your soldiers just gave you, "I'm gonna stage a revolt" eyes.
No, this is Leverage, rather.
No, this is Secret Invasion. Leverage is a much better series, one that actually has more than 6 episodes in a season, so you can have neat things like character development and narrative arcs.
Where's the president? These damn people just giving out classified information.
Asking a question, getting an answer, and then insulting the person who gave it to you. Also, why wasn't this guy sent home? That tells you a lot that even Secret Service agents can't get a sick day, even when they're having issues with both the secret and the service. Though I guess he could still block a bullet.
The footage of you killing Maria Hill is gonna lead off every news program all across the hemisphere.
How do you know that, though? I can see you timing the data to be sent to journalists, but once they have the video, most news outlets will want some time to analyze and vet the footage, contact experts, and so forth. And they'll all do that at different rates of speed depending on the resources, so you can't really know they'll lead off simultaneously. All that to say, your threat is dumb, Rhodes. It would have been easier just to say the video will be sent to every news outlet in 60 seconds. Now, all of a sudden, there's an appropriate amount of agents at the hospital. They really could have sent that injured guy home.
Consider this a preview, Nick.
But why are you letting him go? I know you can't kill him because he knows where the harvest is and blah, 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 but why not capture him and hold him for interrogation? Letting him go makes no strategic sense whatsoever, other than the fact that you still have an episode left in the series.
Politely asking the location of Dr. Rosa Dalton.
Thinking that just because you have a chipper British accent, you can point a gun at someone and it's still somehow polite. Hey, look at that! You shot him and he changed back into his green skin. Somebody should tell Nick this so he can prove Rhodey is a Skrull. I've tried, but I'm starting to think he doesn't actually watch this channel.
What are you confused about?
Why some Skrulls have human accents even when they're among their own kind and no longer need accents to blend in. Oh, you were asking Pato. Never mind. Carry on. Why the f are you punching him? Did none of you grab a gun? Were you just hoping that a mild beatdown would be enough to get this man planning mass murder to surrender? This rebellion is dumb. Also, why did they waste time putting him on a table? Are tables his kryptonite? Come on, man. Gravik isn't John Cena. There's no way that fireman's carry's got you out for the count. I know I'm supposed to be focused on Chadwick, but I can't stop trying to figure out how that door works behind him. Is it supposed to be a swinging door? The doors don't move 1 inch when Beto gets thrown through them, but they swing open and shut afterward. Set designer needs to learn how to door. And yes, I did just use door as a verb. If you'd like to file a complaint, you can mail it to our TVSins office at 1060 West Addison Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60613.
He died on a foreign planet, on a foreign road.
Not to be confused with dying on a foreigner road. I hear bodies that drop there are cold as ice.
Talos told me how you survived your execution.
Yeah, she used the classic survival tactic, a montage.
Colobsidian floricolossus.
Oh, stop being pretentious. Just say Groot. He stole Groot DNA. We all know what a Groot is.
Oh, I'll be in touch.
How do you know these police lights and sirens are for you? Couldn't it just be a routine traffic ticket? If the government was coming for you, don't you think they'd send agents to quietly approach like they did for Bucky's arrest in Civil War?
Don't worry about me. I'll put on a good face.
Fury doesn't groan here, but he wanted to, so I'll groan twice as loud for him. Ugh. You don't need to show him slip away from the police. It's way less cool. You wouldn't show Batman slip away from Commissioner Gordon, would you?
Who are you?
Who? I really gotta know.
My name's Victor.
No, of course you are. Nigel's the one with his silencer pressed against the base of your skull. Ooh, there he is.
Okay, this series may be slow and dull at times, but Olivia Colman is nothing less than a delight. Fine, take us in off for my favorite British person in the MCU. Sorry, Peggy. Dude, even with an accelerant, that building went up quick. It must be made out of that same wood at the church that Ellie fought that pervert minister in Last of Us.
The males in my species are very similar. If they're not busy gaslighting you, they're threatening you with murder. That's what all the podcasts are about.
Not reacting at all to someone magicking a gun and drawing on you. I like to think he was too busy thinking of his favorite episode of My Favorite Murder. Also, I know Fury is the main character here, but I'll be damned if Sonya isn't the one actually being a super cagey, lethal super spy. Olivia Colman is great, but I wanted this from Samuel L. too. How exactly did you get Talos' body back from the Secret Service? Did they just leave him there beside the road? I feel like that's a pretty big detail for the show to gloss over.
How you feeling, Mr. President?
Helpless.
You may be feeling helpless, but considering the doctor said,
I'll crack his chest, you take the laparotomy.
I'd say you look pretty good for a man who just had his chest cracked in a laparotomy.
What you see on the screen is the Skrull compound.
You just walked into the room with that tablet. How the did you get it hooked up on that television so quickly? It takes me 3 flips and a handstand just to get my Chromecast to work with my phone.
A strike on Russian soil. That means World War III.
I would rather us face a war than extinction.
Oh, and what's nuclear winter? A walk in the park? I'd like this joke more if I could literally walk in a park right now without melting.
I thought you were a step ahead of me.
No, you told him he'd like to think that. Fury never said he actually was. How did the show manage to turn Kingsley Ben-Adir into a terrible villain?
Feel a lot better if we were on the helicarrier.
Yeah, that's been mothballed.
That's a funny way of saying the special effects team was rushed and under-budgeted.
And yet you decided to obey the order that says you have to wait around here for your execution.
The thing is, I love this house.
Oh, cool. They had Darwin Awards on Skrullos, too?
When it comes to facing down my executioners, I'd rather meet the bastards standing right here in my happiness than to meet them running down some dark alley.
But no one cares about getting bloodstains out of alleyways. That's what they're there for. Also, sure was cool of the assassins to wait until the most dramatic time in Vara's conversation before taking their first shot. Stealing the backpack body shield Mr. Nobody used in John Wick Chapter 4. Huh. These top words translate to Red Notice in Finnish. That's a Ryan Reynolds movie. And Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. Oh, it's an Easter egg. Did I solve the riddle? Tell me what I've won. Man, keep the wig. Maybe you'll need it again. How much does it even weigh? It's a wig. And yes, I pick up everything in RPGs, and no, I never use any of my potions, just on the off chance I may need them. You're right. I am very good at video games.
This what we're doing?
Having the audacity to question Sonya's taste in hip-hop. Would I have known by looking at these trees if Nick Fury was instead 293 kilometers from the Russian border or 295 kilometers from the Russian border? Of course not. Now, if they'd specified this was 183 miles from the Russian border, I'd have known. My brain only reads freedom units, Marvel.
Well, last I checked, Rhodey is a Skrull.
What?
And you said I'd lost my touch.
Well, you haven't lost your touch from pointlessly keeping secrets from your allies.
In the aftermath, some were sent in to collect that DNA.
That's a cool theory, but in practice, how would you tell Carol Danvers' blood on the ground from any other Avengers' blood? Isn't it all mostly red? Wouldn't you need to already have some of her DNA to compare it to and know Gravik got the right sample? None of this tracks.
Why do you think I came back?
This sin isn't fair, unlike all the other ones here, which are totally super legit and completely objective. But don't you just hate it when you open a door too far and then it rebounds and tries to close itself again, which is exactly what happens to Fury here? I hate it. They really should have reshot this entire scene. Whoa. Where did that hat come from, Samuel L? Is this a continuity error? Or even worse, did your character put on a hat off screen? Come to think of it, this episode has been completely bereft of hat changes.
Fury, why haven't you called any of your special friends down?
This is personal. We can't keep depending on these superheroes to swoop in and save our asses.
Don't you decide that for me. For the record, if any superheroes are watching this, feel free to save the out of me.
This is personal.
Well, that's a funny way of saying we can't afford them.
They do say Darwin never sleeps. Let's give our extinction a nice leg up.
I already made a Darwin joke, and I'm not changing it now just because she made a Darwin joke. It's her fault you're getting 2 Darwin jokes. Blame her. There it is. I'm sure his contract requires at least 1 hat switch an episode, even if it's switching from one knit hat to another knit hat. Samuel L. has got to get his fix. I'm taking a sin away because this pose is the coolest thing he's done in this entire series. And then I'm adding a sin back because this pose is the coolest thing he's done in this entire series. And yes, I know he shot down a helicopter, but helicopters ain't shit.
Let's finish this.
Yes, please. Kind of bored out of my Skrull.
That new paperboy done gone and broke my sternum.
Get over here!
Pagan thought he had a voice, but none of you do.
This isn't a democracy anymore.
Tell Gravik I'm coming for him.
And hell's coming with me, you hear?
Who are you? I think a more apt question would be, who would you like me to be?
I could be fun if you want. Pensive, smart, superstitious, brave, and I could be light on my feet. I could be whatever you want. You just tell me what you want, and I'll be that for you.
It's okay. I know it.